Francisco. I gotta tell you guys, this one is a keeper. Driver San Francisco might be the best racing game I've ever played. Most racing games, you're kind of going around the track trying to save 5 seconds or, a few seconds here, a few seconds there. This game, it's like, please get into the other car and have a head-on collision with traffic. This game, what it does is the whole mechanic, it's really interesting and weird. Basically, this detective gets in a car chase. He gets hit, and he can now swap in and out of bodies, but specifically of cars, obviously. So he gets into another car, does a car chase, and swaps out of the body, and then they have to deal with the consequences, which is great. But it also means it encourages you to get into other cars and have head-on collisions. For example, if you're in a race and you're losing and you just want to finish it, like if it's just too difficult, you can always get into an opposing car and run into your opponents, and you can destroy their cars. They have health bars, which is just the best thing ever. There are other missions where you have to defend a car from getting hit that's immobile, and you need to do head-on collisions with a bunch of other vehicles. It's so much fun. It's basically a crash simulator, and the cool thing is that it's open world. That's not revolutionary now, but the way it was done at the time, open world was very much a new thing, and the way it did its open world I thought was very streamlined. It's a really nice open world where, well, first of all, because you can also swap into any car, you do that by going into like a bird's eye view of the city, and so you can see all of the challenges, all of the missions immediately from a bird's eye view, so you don't have to go searching for anything. That's a big issue with some open world games, is that you need to drive to the location to actually do it. In the game Driver San Francisco, you just click on it. It's easy. But you can drive if you want, and the selection of vehicles is insane. A couple of the cars are really, really fun to drive, especially the Lamborghinis, I think, are the best ones in the game. And, each car has its own stats or whatever. The actual story of the game is you have to solve this terrorist plot to destroy the city by this guy called Jericho. And you do that by going through a bunch of different missions tracking down his constituents. I'll be completely honest. Objectively, this Detective Tanner guy, all of his leads die or get compromised, or he takes them out. It's really, really funny. It starts out like an episode of 24. Like, I miss games that did not take themselves seriously at all. And this is one of those games where in the opening you have a guy breaking chains with acid and some lady in a helicopter with an RPG that takes out a police escort. It's extremely, I don't care, it looks cool. The other thing I have to say is that Tanner's voice line delivery, at least maybe in the beginning, is so wooden. It was almost funny how bad it was. He's kind of like, oh, this is really happening, isn't it? At least in comparison to his, partner, who is much more energetic and lively. What really also makes this game, again, is the music, the soundtrack. This game has so many licensed songs, and good licensed songs, a ton of them. I don't know how they got this many, to be honest, but the music in this game is just amazing. It really adds a texture to this game. I think the best kind of moment of this game, where it really tests your skills, is when you have to do this one mission where you have to go essentially along the freeway as fast as possible and in first person view. I feel that was the most cool thing, because when you're in first person view, it's basically like you are touching the road, and it's such a fun, cool experience. I just want to play racing games where it makes you go fast and crash into things. And the only other game that comes to mind is Burnout. So I don't know why this is so difficult to do, but it's a great game. It's a wonderful game. Another thing I really have to point out, I know I just bashed the story, but the writing for the side missions is hilarious and fun and interesting. Every single side mission has a cool character trope or something, and there's a bunch of homages to, obviously Dukes of Hazzard and a bunch of car, chase movies and such, and I think even Initial D. This game is it's a car game, but it's a passion project as well, and it's such a interesting, weird hidden gem. The very first reason I actually played this game is because of a YouTube video talking about that there is a second person perspective mission in this game. And it's really trippy. When you step on the acceleration, It's the car in front of you that moves. It was such a neat experience. I love the level progression. I love the soundtrack, unlocking new vehicles, unlocking different parts of the city, advancing the story, and it's such a legitimately fun game. If you really want to play a good racing game and you haven't played this gem, I would definitely check it out. Alright, take care.